Hello again. Today I want to speak about the flat earth religion. I know that some of you have seen videos that have been posted that flat earthers are now a cult and are actually just another religion that is forming in these times. I'd like to address that issue and a few others that are very important right now to the flat earth community. And I'm going to read from a few different sources. The first source is from a book that's called Zetetic Astronomy, Earth Not a Globe. And you can find this for sale on the internet. I know Amazon has it, and they also have a Kindle edition that you can get for 99 cents. And that's actually what I'm reading from today. Chapter 1 says this. The name of the title is Zetetic and Theoretic Defined and Compared. The term zetetic, and that is spelled Z-E-T-E-T-I-C. The term zetetic is derived from the Greek verb zeteo, which means to search or examine, to proceed only by inquiry, to take nothing for granted, but to trace phenomena to their immediate and demonstrable causes. It is here used in contradistinction from the word theoretic, the meaning of which is speculative, imaginary, not tangible, scheming, but not proving. Now I want to take you to another very interesting book that I found today. You can find this at www.fixedearth.com/small-universe.html. This is called A Small Young Universe After All. Very interesting. This was written evidently over 10 years ago. The writer says, thus, in spite of a world persuaded otherwise, biblical cosmology stands just as impregnable in the 21st century as it did in 1600 AD. The Apollonian model particularly shows the Earth at the center of the universe with a band of stars all around. Inside the misnamed solar system, all the planets orbit the sun, and the moon and the stars orbit the Earth. Now, this is a little different than most of us have been learning through various videos we see on the internet. But these are things that we are just now discovering. That is, we are discovering exactly how God's universe works because we've been misled for so long. Now, let me continue to read. The Earth is not a planet, which word means wanderer, and like solar system, and also capitalizing the planets' names and using the small e for Earth, are all just clever little indoctrination tools. Now, this is the key verse I want to focus on today. Not verse, but paragraph. In short, the sun, moon, and stars are actually doing precisely what everyone throughout all history has seen them do. We do not believe what our eyes tell us because we've been taught a counterfeit system which demands that we believe what has never been confirmed by observation or experiment. That counterfeit system, and he's talking about the global system that all of us have learned, which all of us believed until recently, that counterfeit system demands that the Earth rotate on an axis every 24 hours at a speed of over 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. No one has ever seen or felt such movement, nor seen or felt the 67,000 mile per hour speed of the Earth's alleged orbit around the sun, or its 500,000 mile per hour alleged speed around a galaxy, or its retreat from an alleged Big Bang at over 670 million miles per hour. In other words, what he's saying here is that if we live on a globe as all the scientists tell us and NASA tells us, and every school has taught us, if we in fact live on a globe, then all of these incredible speeds are speeds that our Earth is moving at. Now just consider, first of all, it says the Earth spins on an axis once every 24 hours. That's what gives us day and night. But then it also says that it speeds around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. And that around the sun is what gives us our alternating seasons. But more than that, they say that this whole solar system we live in is speeding at 500,000 miles per hour around the galaxy that we're allegedly part of. But then all of that is proceeding out away from the Big Bang at 670 million miles per hour. That's 4 different motions, and none of us feel a thing, do we? Now we're talking about flat earth religion, which is really a religion. I would say it takes a lot of faith to believe that we live on a global earth and that our global earth goes through all of these crazy speeds that we've just now gone over. I believe we in fact live on the world that God told us we lived on and that many Bible verses tell us about. I want to read a few verses now. Very, very interesting verses. This is from Colossians chapter 1. This is a book that Paul wrote. It says that Jesus, starting at verse 15, Colossians 1:15, Jesus is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For by him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through him and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. And he is the head of the body, the ecclesia, the assembly. He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in everything he might be preeminent. For in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through him to reconcile to himself all things, whether on earth or in heaven, making peace by the blood of his cross. I want you to pay a special reference to verse 20 that says that Jesus came to reconcile all things, whether on earth or in heaven, to himself. We're all taught a very exclusive Christianity, but our God is not an exclusive God. Our God is an inclusive God who loves you, who loves me, who died for the sins of all the world, every single one of us. I want to read a little more from this passage just so some of you get a little better idea of what Jesus did. And you who once were alienated and hostile in mind, doing evil deeds, just as I was at one time, he has now reconciled in his body of flesh by his death, in order to present you holy and blameless and above reproach before him, if indeed you continue in the faith, stable and steadfast, not shifting from the hope of the gospel that you heard, which has been proclaimed in all creation under heaven, and of which I, Paul, became a minister. Back in verse 16, it says that by him, by Jesus, all things were created. Many of us who have come to understand the flat earth, who did not believe in Jesus before, have now begun to believe that there is a creator. I understand that a lot of you would not call yourself a Christian, but you have now seen that this flat earth that we live in is described in the Bible. And because of that description, I think a lot of you have begun to see, oh my goodness, a creator really does exist. We've been lied to about the Big Bang. We've been lied to about evolution. We've been lied to about the global earth. Every one of those things that the globalists believe are all matters of faith. None of them can be proved. That's why I read the beginning from the book Zetetic Astronomy, was to show you that the people who believe in the flat earth are the people who are testing these things, who are seeing if these things are true, who are doing experiments, who are watching the experiments that are being done, who are coming to an independent conclusion, not based upon faith, that we in fact live on a flat earth. So you see, the flat earth religion is not a religion. The flat earth idea is based upon facts. It's based upon what we can see. It's based upon what we can prove as being real. Unlike you globalists who want to accuse us of being part of a cult. No, the flat earth is based upon reality. The flat earth is based upon true science that can be proven, not upon theories and upon imaginary numbers that cannot be proven.